Hello OTP, this is Twins34, and I'm going to be doing a special kind of tutorial today that isn't really a how to install a mod. I'm actually going to do a video on how to create a fictional league, but to also have historical players in it. And this is going to have historical players in it where they come in the year they would be drafted into the league. So let's go to 25, and you want to click on New Game. You want to do a new custom game. You do not want to be in challenge mode because that's going to prevent you from actually setting up your league. So make sure you do not use challenge mode for this. Now, I am going to pick fictional because I want to have fictional teams in a fictional world with fictional miners and all that stuff. So I'm not going to go into advanced mode or anything right now. I am just going to go through and set everything. I want to get to the date is the first thing I want to do. And I want to set it for, I'm going to go 1901 just because I want to actually have quite a few of the historical players going through this system. Now, if you want the game to play at a different level, you can actually do that later. So you can import the financials for a different year. You can import all the different statistics. So don't worry about starting in 1901. You can set your fictional world the way you want it. I am going to hold his inaugural draft because, you know, that's kind of the fun part about setting up a league like this is that you get to start with a whole new fictional world. Gonna have 162 games. That's fine. 3 games. I'll go to the next step. And here I'm actually going to turn off automatic evolution. Just because I really don't want the game to change my world. And having automatic evolution on can change a lot of really weird things. Like raising your pitcher mound. You know, that could mess things up. You don't want that. Let's see. I guess next what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into advanced mode. So pretty much the league is set up for the most part right now. Here you want to set up your name change. Go, I guess, fictional historic players. Seems like a pretty good name for this type of league. Your teams, those are all set. You can go to rules. You can turn on your designated hitter. I mean, if you want to play in 2024, you know, that works out. The year is going to be 1901 in game, but you can set your league to play like 2024. You can set this to the 3, just like it is now. You can turn on or off your extra innings. You can set all your industrial complex, all that stuff. Let's see, what else do you want to set? You can put on your draft pick trading if you want. I mean, it is a fictional world. If you want lottery, you can enable that. Um, Financials. This is where you can pick 2024 to have your financials. And it's going to fix all that for you. They'll set your baseline, your ticket prices, because it's at 2044 instead of 44 cents now. You can enable reverse clause or you can keep it off. I mean, most likely you want to have free agency, so make sure this is not on. You have your qualifying offer. This shows you all your base prices, how many years of contracts you want to go. Do you want to allow contract extensions? If you want to set a cap. So go through, set your rules, set your financials. Go in your options. I already have the fantasy draft set. And here's where you want to find your import real historical rookies and enable it. Now, if you do not want random rookies coming in, do not enable use random rookies from all eras. If you want them to come in just like the years they were drafted, only click this. Now, only major league players, the players that made it to the majors, will be in these rookie drafts. People that never made it out of the minors will not show up in these rookie drafts. So I would very much recommend you also have fictional players being created. Otherwise, there's a very good chance you might run out of players in your minor leagues. So make sure that is selected. You can change any of your awards or not. So you can get everything set up in here. Spring training, your whole all-star game. Your home run derby. Your playoffs to be on. Automatically adjust league strategy. You can leave that off. Import adjusted financial settings after each year. Leave this off because you just set it for 2024 or you set it for whatever year you want your financials to be. So make sure this is off because you don't want to revert back to 1902 when the league switches over to 1902. You can turn off automatically adjust totals for modifiers because that's going to mess up a lot of things as well. As in your home runs and doubles, triples, strikeouts, walks. because we'll be setting that to 2024, and you definitely don't want the game to adjust this back to 1902 into the deadball era. So now we'll move on to players. And in here, it should already be set that international amateur free agents will be created. So you will get fictional amateur free agents. If you don't want them, you can click none. You can turn them off. If you want more, you want fewer, it's your world. You can set for whichever way you want it. And then stats and AI. This is where if you don't want to play in deadball era, you can set your years to 2023. You can set any of this for whatever year you feel like you want your league to be set up in, 70s, 80s, 90s. But just make sure under options that you have the automatically adjust league total modifiers turned off. Otherwise, changing any of this will be all in vain. So you went from a 4-man rotation to now a 5-man rotation. You can set your default starting to either the defaults, or you can go highest rested, strict rotation, whichever way you want to set it up. From here, I would say you can just go to start the game, because I don't think anything else really needs to be set. Well, I guess you can set your scouting accuracy to wherever you want it. Very high, high, normal. Make sure you get whatever you want set up in here. You can, if you do miss something, you can always fix it once the game has been created. So you're not going to be missing anything if you miss it here. So I will just go in to create game, and then I'll go over all the rest of this with you. I'm going to go into commissioner mode. I'm probably not going to pick a team yet. Actually, let's kind of look at the team names here. We got the Cannonballers, the Medievals, the Bucks, the Rainers, Polar Bears, Victory, Silver Wolves, Mesa Silver Knights. Las Vegas Black Knights. That kind of sounds fun. So I'll just pick them for now. And then I'll start the game. And as this is going, I just want to remind you guys to, hit the like button, subscribe. That helps me out a ton. As I'm doing these for a hobby and doing it just to try to help out the community a little bit more, because a lot of people ask questions on how to do weird little things like this. Okay, our game has been created, and we can go look at our inaugural draft, our draft pool, and you are going to have a whole bunch of fictional players. I mean, it's just that's the way it's going to be. Um, I doubt there's going to be any of the historical players in here yet, but I'm not 100% sure on who comes in 1901. Let's look at pitchers because I do know pitchers that were around 1901. And it does not look like it. So pretty much the first time you will see your players come in will be during the draft. So we will go into game and game settings quick just to make sure everything's set. And I noticed that the scouting report updates is still at normal. It's at very high, so everything here came through just fine. These are on. Do I want to have coaches being stolen? Yeah, it gives a little bit of flavor to the game. When do I want to autosave? I like to go once a month. And I will manually save during the week if I need to. Like, say I made a big trade, I will save as soon as that trade is done. So that I do not lose what I did. Players and teams. Do you want your injury to be OTP Classic? Do you want to be realistic modern day? This is however your flavor is. I like to play with low for mine. Just because, yes, I do like injuries, but I don't like to have 100 injuries on my team. I do like to show player personality. Now, having morale system and team chemistry system, that's all up to you. They do give bonuses. They also give negatives. If you have a negative player on your team, it will affect other players. That's always a good reason of having captains and leaders. Um, you have your aging modifiers and your dev speed. I usually go with 900 or 950. It all depends on at what point I'm playing. And there are a lot of people that say, they're not seeing very good development of their players. You can adjust that in OTP. It might take you a while to find the perfect recipe for what you want to see. I usually normally run 1.1. Some people might want to run 1.5 if they're not seeing development of their rookies. It all depends on what you think is right for your world. So I will go 0.900 on both of these, or 0.9 and 1.1. Development age target and target age. I like to put this at older so that they'll start aging more in the 30s instead of starting to lose everything at their late 20s. My talent change randomness, I go anywhere from 75 to 100. I really don't like to see someone that was really good and then all of a sudden they just crash. Some people, they really like that. Me, not so much. All right, the dev lab, I like to have this at 10 or 12 just because it gives you a little bit more to play around with. And I leave pretty much everything else on here. Oh, make sure you click this so you can see the rating changes in your emails. Don't forget that one. I always delete players who never reached the majors. I mean, right now it's not going to make a difference because I don't have any retired players because this is a brand new world. Don't reuse player IDs. You got your face gens. If you want to have the face gens of your players coming in, um, just make sure this is set. You don't really have to change anything in here. It will load the files automatically when they come in. AI settings, almanac, database, none of that stuff you have to touch, so go to league settings. Here you can expand a league, so since we have disabled the evolution of the league, you will have to expand your league this way. Now, I'm not going to go through that because that's a whole different video dealing with expansion teams. Schedule a fantasy draft is here, but we already have that done. It's already set and ready to go, so we won't touch that. And pretty much everything else in here, there is not much of a need. There's no stats to delete, so everything else in here, we're just going to leave that alone. This shows your team names. Don't have to touch anything in there. And now we're back to the rules. If you missed anything when we were setting it up in the advanced mode, you can fix that here. Say, you decide, yeah, I do want to have draft pick trading on after all. You can turn it on now. Say you don't want to have Rule 5. You can turn Rule 5 off. If you don't want veterans to veto trades, you can turn that off. So, if you did miss anything when you were setting things up before you created the league, you can fix it here. Like, here's Rule 5. Do you not want to have Rule 5? Turn it off. You can disable the right to refuse minor leagues. If you want to have ghost players, you can do that. Your amateur draft date, it's set for July. And it has a default of 27 rounds. You can disable the automatic creation of free agents, but like I said, you may want to keep that on so it does create fictional free agents. Because there's a good chance that only running off of historical free agents, you may run out of players in your minors. So it is, to me, a good idea to use automatic creation of free agents. Here's your draft. If you didn't set that before, you can do that now. You can set your draft rounds here. If you want to have 20, if you want to have 40, it's going to generate players for so many rounds. So if you want to make sure you have a good draft pool along with your historicals, I would say generate for 25 rounds if you're going 20. If you're going 25 rounds, go generate for 30. That way, you're not going to drown out your historical rookies. Your financials should be set. Make sure it's not going to change. Your financial system's on, your yearly inflation. So everything there should be fine. Your options. Remember, make sure automatic adjust financial settings is off. Don't have that on. You can keep that off. You want this on. Turn that off if you do not want random rookies. Let's see. If there's anything else I'm missing. Right here for created player age minimum, if you want, you can set that for 18. You can set it for 16. And if you want your maximum age to be 21, you can set that. And that means any rookie that comes into your draft class, it can be between the age of 16 and 21. So you won't see like people that are 24, 25. But, most college people coming in are 23. So if I did it, I would set it this 16 and 23. You can have your amateur free agent signing start date. That's in January. You can change that, anytime you want. Right now it's set for next year. You can set this for December 15th, 1901, if that's when you want to do your amateur free agents. That way, you're going to have an amateur free agent this year instead of having to wait till January next year. Don't touch any of the modifiers, just pretty much ignore them. And this is already set for 2023, so you don't have to touch anything there. And we already have it off, so it's not going to change your settings. I'll put this back to 13 so it doesn't screw anything up. So pretty much your league will be set up now. And you could go in and start your inaugural draft. When the next amateur free agent draft comes up, you should see your historical players in there that would have came into the MLB in 1901. So I'm probably going to leave this video right here. If you do have any questions of anything I said in this video, please feel free to post below. And I will attempt to answer your question. Once again, please like and subscribe. And check out my other videos I have created. Also, if you would like to follow me on Twitch, that is twitch.tv twins_34. And this has been Twins34, and I'd like y'all to have a great day. Thank you very much for watching, and keep watching for more videos.